Branding for your business. A logo cannot create a strong brand. What you need to do is to express the qualities, strengths, and personalities of a brand. A strong brand will make customers remember your business as well as build trust between your company and customers. They tend to be more loyal to you in many ways. You should consider building your brand at the early stage of your business. Therefore, you will have a greater chance to be successful. Come to our live stream tonight and explore more with our expert, Mr. Forrest Tuff, accredited speaker. Mr. Forrest Tuff is an award-winning entrepreneur, speaker, author, and film producer. He's the CEO of One Vision Productions, a multimedia agency named one of Georgia's best and brightest companies to work for. As a professional speaker, Forrest is one of the only 89 Toastmasters in the world to achieve the prestigious Accredited Speaker credential. An active volunteer and philanthropist, he received the President's Lifetime Achievement Award for completing 4,000 hours of community service. Hello, Mr. Forrest Tuff. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Alan. It's great to be here.
Yeah, now let's get into our business. What is the first point that you would like to share with us related to branding your business?
As it relates to branding your business, one of the things that I thought that you said was so key is it's not just about your logo. Branding your business is truly about an experience for your customers. And that starts from the logo until you complete the service that you promised. It's one thing, you have to define who you are as a business. And two, you have to perfect the processes that you give to your customers. And finally, you have to deliver on the service. And that's how you retain a great feeling for that customer, that client, and that's how they remember your brand, because it's not only what you look like, but it's how you made them feel at the end of that project and deliver that service.
I see. So it means branding is about creating the feeling and identity in your customers.
Exactly. I'll give you an example. Here's a global company, Amazon.
Yeah.
Their logo is a smile. They say, hey, when you purchase from Amazon, that's how you feel when you receive a package at your door. So that was an experience. You remember Amazon because of the way they made you feel when you ordered and the great product, but having that product delivered on time and being what you want in the customer service. So that's a great example of a global company that has reached the world and having a proper branding image that has worked successfully.
Yeah. In case that you are a startup company, how can you come up with your brand identity, Mr. Forrest?
Well, one of the things I would suggest when you start is write down, why are you starting? The thing that you want to know is, why are you doing what you do and what problem will you solve? And that's the first most important place to go, because that's going to help you determine where you develop your mission, your vision, and your values for your company. So I think the best place to start is just remembering why you want to do it. And there are other organizations, here, especially in the United States. But one of the things that we suggest, there are companies that help businesses start. Here we have the Small Business Administration, and I'm sure there are different platforms in different areas, but they help you to understand your market and building that business plan for your company.
I see. What is the integration between branding and marketing?
Well, branding is who we are, and marketing is how we get there. It's almost as if when you brand, you create the image. All right, this is what I want to give to the public. This is the image that I want to present. The marketing is the means to deliver that to the world, whether that's through social media, commercials, promo ads, or anything that you use to help convey that message of who you are. So now that the marketplace knows what you offer and what your service is.
I see. So it means that branding is just like the message that you would like to use marketing as a channel to deliver that message to your
E-
users or customers.
Exactly, in a nutshell. That would be
I
the
see.
most simplistic way to put it.
Mm. What is the first step for startup owners to start building their own brand in order to have a successful brand in the future?
This all starts with the business plan,
Mm,
the market research, understanding who are your competitors, what service, if
yeah.
you want to, create a brand of shoe, who are the competitors in your market? What is that price
Mm,
point? What's the
mm,
symmetry? How far are they from you? Understanding where you can find your marketplace and where you think you can be profitable or there's a need in an area that's not being serviced. I think the part of that goes into creating that business plan. And, there's the market research, there's the financial analysis of what it's going to cost to produce or distribute your product. So I think the beginning, when you want to start a business, of course, it starts with an idea. It starts just with the concept of, hey, listen, I want to save the world, whatever that idea is. But once you
mm,
get past that point of the concept, it's now time to get into the business of making sure that your concept survives.
mm. I see. After you build your brand for several years, let's say that 2 or 3 years of your business establishment already, what is the next step to move your brand to another level, Mr. Forrest?
Well, I think you always have to go back to the drawing board and look at what you've accomplished. Look at the
Mm,
goals that you set out initially and see how you fared in achieving those goals. And if you've achieved those goals, you have to continue to set new goals. You have to be
mm,
aware of your market. Go back to the
mm,
drawing board and do your market research again. See what's changed. At today's time, I've been in business now for 17 years and I'm in the media space. Well, so much has changed in 17 years. When
yeah.
I started, we were using cameras that use tapes. Then everything
Mm,
went digital. Now everything's streaming. So the market changes. And if you want to stay relevant, you have to reevaluate your company and go
mm,
back to the drawing board and make the changes to thrive and be
mm.
relevant today.
I see. So being updated about the market and make
Yes.
sure that you stay with the trend.
Mhm.
Okay.
And be innovative. If there are
Mm,
things that you see, try things. Try to be the first to come out with different things that may be innovative in your marketplace. I think that's also a part of your brand strategy is not only to be a part of the industry, but try to innovate in the industry if it's possible.
mm. I see. I got you. Now, in case that you are a startup business and you don't have many resources such as funding or money at the beginning of your stage, how can you build your brand and what is the right time that we should investing in branding the business?
I believe you can start branding without the finances. I think some of the
Mm,
things about branding, or like you say, even to the point
mm,
of creating that image or that logo. And
mm,
so, with that, if you don't have finances, you aren't able to receive money from banks, you know, go to family members, try
mm,
friends, write up
mm,
a proposal, treat them as if they're a business and show them what you're going to do with your business. I think if you can go that route, sometimes friends or family members or business constituents will take you more serious. They see that you care about their time and their money and maybe propose how they'll receive a reinvestment on the funds that they give to you. So I think those are
mm,
great ways to start when you don't have the revenue or you can't get it from banks. And find ways to just create an image of what it is, an image or a slogan, and use
mm,
that on everything. Start to answer your phones when you call. If your company has a slogan, when people call, answer, use that slogan. Do it as if you are a major corporation already.
mm. I see. I see that some startup founders use their own personal brand as the company brand. Do you
Mhm.
think that is a right strategy to begin with? And should we change that strategy along the way?
Starting off, I think is fine. You
Mm,
are your brand initially. That's your brand
mm,
recognition. It will be based upon you. And to some degree, that doesn't change. It depends on the growth of your
mm,
company. You could be a successful business
mm,
and have one or two employees. Really,
mm,
success is defined by what you want to achieve, not by what everybody else thinks success is. So if
mm,
you're like, hey, I just want to service this population and I want to
mm,
bring in revenue that supports that, then you are a successful business. I think
mm,
doing that, starting off with yourself, there are legal structures that give you more liability as a person. And I think
mm.
as you move into what you're doing, you want to eventually start to separate yourself from your business. That way, as it comes into legal things, or you won't be your personal assets won't be attached to your business, and that would be the biggest concern, is having your personal assets such as your car, your home, things that could affect your livelihood if something goes wrong with the business. So that's something to consider, but I won't say that it's absolutely necessary, but it's something to consider in future if you want to successfully grow your business
Yeah, I
and
see.
have a separation with yourself.
Mm. So at first, we can attach our personal branding along with the business, but along the way, it's better to separate it.
Yes. Yes,
Yeah, I
I
see.
believe so.
Mm. As a company grows older, I see. Now, in case that I see some companies at whenever they build a brand, do you think that we need to brand our business at up to the current stage that we have, or we need to foresee the business development in the next even 5 years in order to come up with that brand and promote that brand to our customers? Or we just only brand the current products or current stage of the company only?
It varies. I mean, I think with your vision and your mission is, let's say, the vision is where you want to go, where you see yourself in the future. So as you
Yeah.
look at your products, that's something to consider. Now, the
Mm-hmm.
mission, of course, is how you're going to get to that vision. So you
Yeah.
base your service on what you can provide and be great at providing that service. And along the
Mm-hmm.
way, if you want to add certain things, you can structure your company so that there is room to add other services. But I think
Mm-hmm.
initially, know what your service is. Be great at
Mm-hmm.
offering the one thing. When we first started, our company was about videography services. That was it. But as we've expanded, we've got into writing, we've gotten into
Mm-hmm.
overall branding for corporations, we photography, aerial drone services. So as your company grows, you can add things that work in that same market space, but now you can actually fulfill it and you have the personnel to make it happen.
I see. So focus on small thing first, the niche market first, and you're gonna expand it in the future.
Yes. The point is to try to bring in revenue. And if you have a
Mm,
service that can bring revenue into the company,
mm,
reinvest a majority of that money back into the business so that you can continuously grow over time, or until you
mm,
have enough capital to now go to a bank and maybe receive a loan based on the amount of money that you've saved and been able to put into your company. And that's one of the things that will help you grow, is when you actually have input, the ability to add to your company, maybe increase your payroll or buy new services or products for distribution.
mm. I see. Mr. Forrest, in case that our business direction change,
Mhm.
so do we change the way we promote our brand as well?
Yes, you can.
Mm,
There's nothing set in stone that says you have to do business this way. Really, I
mm,
think if your values stay the same, number one,
mm,
people understand who you are as a company
mm,
and what you stand for. They understand that you have ethical business service. Then
mm,
you have the ability to change how you market your services. If there's new
mm,
technologies and you like to take advantage of them, then I would say do it. Don't stick to something so much that you become obsolete. And now your services you're like a dinosaur because you're not doing anything. And that's why I talk about the innovation. Stay innovative. If new things come about, make sure you do what you can to do that, because your clients will appreciate that growth and that ability to shift.
I see. Now let's say about the result of your brain development. How can you measure the success of a brain?
What are your goals? Measure your goals. And that it goes all back to the beginning of what are you trying to achieve when you set out to understand what success or what progress you've made. Look at the goals you set, whether it's in 1 year, 2 years, 6 months, 3 years, 5 years. If you've achieved those goals or you've come close to it, then you can measure that as success. And once again, success can be measured by you. What is your measure for success? And once you start to understand your measures of success, you can now change that dynamic or look at a different algorithm, or this is where I want to be. Now, if you go out of that scope, then once you reassess, you can say, you know what, let's scale back a little bit. Maybe we reached too far. But there's no bad or there's no cookie cutter formula, but you have to determine that for yourself. And whatever those parameters are for your company, that'll be
Yeah,
how you measure your goals.
I see. Can you share with us some examples of brain success metrics that you have observed so far?
Okay. So
Yeah.
I'll give my company as an example.
Yeah.
When I started out, one of the things that we did was we focused on working with people to do birthdays, weddings, music videos. We were in that space. That was the majority of our business. But we wanted to scale. So we had to pivot because we now wanted to work with corporations and government agencies. That brought in more revenue, more consistent revenue, and also allowed us to grow in terms of the personnel that we had for what we were trying to do. And so as we did the research, we got all the certifications to work with government agencies. We started to work with government agencies and receive government contracts. Well, once we started to do that, and of course, we were happy with the revenue growth and the opportunities, now our market changed. So we no longer offered services for birthdays or weddings. We now focus more on small, big corporations and government agencies. So that took time. And there are also times where I work with a corporation. I said, hey, listen, we'll come in and let us cover this contract pro bono. We'll take care of it. We want to show you that we're able to fulfill your needs. So your marketing strategies are completely up to you. How innovative can you be? And we've actually worked with one corporation. We gave them a free service with the understanding that it was an opportunity to earn their business. And so now we've been a vendor for this large corporation for 11 years. So that panned out. So you have to be innovative in how you approach things and understand, if you do something, what is the outcome that you like to achieve?
I see. I see those activities that you've been doing for the last 11 years. And how can you convert it into numbers to measure that is your success?
Uh, Bottom line, I'm a for-profit business, so revenue. I look at the bottom line. What are
Yeah.
we making versus what are we spending out? And once I see those numbers increase in revenue, and now the services that we can offer our clients, the clientele, the products that we're able to have available in terms of the types of cameras we need, if we need cranes or the type of equipment and the personnel to staff it, we've definitely seen growth, because with the revenue stream and managing your finances, you're able to achieve more. So that has been the measure for me, is that we've made more and more money progressively over time. Mhm.
I see. I got you. It means that your brain metrics can be associated with your business's goals.
That's right. With your
I see.
business
Good.
goals and revenue. At the end of the day, when we talk business, we're talking finances. If you want to sustain your business, you have to make money. Even if it's a nonprofit, you need finances to offer your services to the public. If you're servicing a certain sector. If you're working with the homeless and you need programs, you need revenue to create these programs to service the homeless. So revenue is very important in business, and the branding is there to help increase your revenue.
I see. I think that this question is more related to authenticity. How can we create an authentic brand among like a lot of brands nowadays? How can you make you authentic and stand out?
To be authentic and stand out, number one, stick to your goals. There are things and there are companies that measure your ability to accomplish certain things. So, for instance, here in the United States, there's an organization called the Better Business Bureau. They've been around 100 years,
Yeah.
and they're a staple on what people consider great customer service in a business. So there are times where they have measurements to show, hey, this is what we've done. This is what our clients say about us. These are testimonials. And when you receive that stamp of approval that says, hey, you have an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau, and you've been awarded the Torch Award for ethics and customer service. Those type of things can help with your brand. It's one thing to say that you're able to do something. It's another thing when someone or some organization that's reputable says, hey, you do this and you do it well. So I think as a business, it's okay to have outside individuals validate what your company is able to do, because clients look to that and that works for them. It helps them make that decision.
I see. That is the recognition from outsiders.
That's right. Reputable organizations that, whether it's customer testimonials or organizations that award your company for achieving something, that individuals can say, hey, this is a reputable company. And if they say it, it must be true. That's branding.
Yeah, and recently you just got an accredited speaker from Toastmaster. That is a very a reputable organization recognized your
Yes.
abilities.
Yes. Yes.
That's
And,
that's
it's interesting. In my journey to become a professional speaker, that was the same concept that I had. I'm in an ocean of professional speakers. How can I stand out? What
yeah.
organization can scream out, hey, this guy is a great speaker? You want him. And Toastmasters International offer that opportunity. And it is open doors. As I say, having an organization behind you that says, we've checked this person, they fit the bill, they've done it, and they will be a great fit for your company. That's a great validation outside of me saying, hey, I'm a public speaker. It doesn't mean that I'm not enough, but it helps.
Yeah, right. It helps you a lot in terms of building your credibility.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think that let's come to the final message that you would like to share with our viewers here related to branding your business topic. What is your final message?
A brand is your personal story. Take the time to tell that story, because that is what you are selling to the world, and that's how they perceive you. So when you tell your brand, make sure you tell your story. And that is the part that makes it authentic. And that is what people want. They want the authenticity of what you're selling and who you are.
Yeah, and it makes you unique as well among thousands of brands.
Exactly.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Mr. Forrest, for joining us tonight and share with us the topic, branding your business. And thank you so much, everyone, for watching EIY education session. I do appreciate it so much. And I hope to see you tomorrow night at 8 p.m. And bye-bye, Mr. Forrest, and bye, everyone. My name is Ann.
Thank you so much, Anne. It was great talking to you today.
Yeah, me too.